Okay.
Clock stop.
I ask unanimous consent to submit for the record an article from Forbes magazine entitled "Trump Team Focuses Deportations on Immigration Numbers, Not on Criminals,"
Without objection, so ordered.
and an article from the Rolling Stone from the 6th of last month entitled "Trump has now deported multiple U.S. citizen children with cancer."
Without objection, so ordered. That's a good diversity of sources. The
It is.
Forbes
Stone
and Rolling
Forbes,
Stone.
yes.
I like that. All right, proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. A couple of things on the record and then some observations. I don't know that I necessarily have any questions, but I do have some observations and a statement. I think before we let this get out of control, everybody on this side of the aisle is against violence of all forms. Everybody on this side of the aisle finds that to be unacceptable. We believe that convicted criminals who are incidentally illegally here and have been convicted should have no safe harbor. And we believe that victims of criminals should have our collective prayers and empathy. So this is not about Democrats not having a balance or about Democrats supporting something that is not right. The other thing that I want to say is that I find something eerily chilling about what's going on here. And what's chilling about it is that if I take myself out of 2025 and roll myself back in time, some of the hatred that I see displayed under the guise of good government just scares the hell out of me. We're not that far away from situations that existed where things like this affected other groups. And I'm not talking about anybody that's a convicted illegal criminal. I'm talking about innocent Americans who live in our neighborhoods, who do the work that we won't do, who abide by the laws, who play by the rules, who love their new country and who cherish their faith. Because if we just roll this clock on the wall back 75 years, we'd be looking at a time in Nazi Germany where people ran around with signs like this new ICE sign that says, "Report all foreign invaders to ICE," with Uncle Sam there holding up the sign. This could have been a Gestapo member 75 years ago, "Report all Jews." 100 years before that, it could be a plantation owner that said, "Report all Negroes and all coloreds and all those who are from Africa," because they are disrupting our country. So let's not get it twisted here. We in this country are not pure and pristine. We had runaway slave laws to kick the people who ran away from slavery. We had 50 years of black codes where you got fines and you got rewards and you got all sorts of things if you did or did not do something to report black people. After 150 years of slavery and 100 years of segregation and 100 years of Jim Crow after that, you could be arrested for anything in this country not that long ago. I remember when the National Guard was deployed in 1968, and I walked out of my house facing fixed bayonets with men in uniform, not knowing what the hell they were there for, but obeying the chief executive officer of this country. And I know what it's like to face a bayonet and to face a National Guardsman. And I've seen the tension that it brought about and how that group of demonstrations across this country continue to go for days and days and days. And so don't give me something about, there's something about these people because they're immigrants. No, there's something about them because they're people, and like all groups, they've got bad people in them. I could have been arrested 75 years ago for walking into a restaurant, for drinking out of a water fountain, for being accused of looking at a white woman like Emmett Till did in 1955, and he was burned and lynched in this country. When future generations peer through the telescope of time, I hope that they look at us and realize that there are some who chose not to shirk their responsibility, not to run away from the reality and to face it head on. You know, not too long ago, I went to visit a proud lady who this year will celebrate her 149th anniversary. And she stands today, even as we sit in this hour. In her left hand is a great torch. And in her right hand, guess what? She clings the Declaration of Independence close to her breast. And on her head is a crown of spikes. and on her feet broken shackles, symbolizing freedom from tyranny, the tyranny that so many immigrants faced before coming to this country. And as that plane flew over, I could still hear her cry out through silent, concrete lips, saying, "Send me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses who yearn to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore," she says. "Send those, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. For I left my lamp beside the golden door, that all of you and all of you and all of you might follow." And so we came. Some took the circuitous route, some came for a thrill, and some of us came against our will. But we came and became what we are today as a nation, and we must never lose sight of the things that make us great or the things that take away from our greatness. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you, Chair. Now recognizes Mr. Gill from Texas.